Hey everyone, Hump Day update. March Madness conference tourney action continues here on Wednesday all day long. Have a couple of three games just like yesterday we're going to talk about. All the information that we gave you yesterday all came in 3-0 sweep Gonzaga. Wasn't even close. I told you they're built for this time of year. Gonzaga's dangerous this year because they're not expected to be a Final Four team and they're not undefeated like many years past, going in with all these high expectations. They're a five-loss team and ho-hum, just kind of chugging along under the radar a little bit. Gonzaga's kind of an also-ran, and they're playing without that pressure, and it's showing. They're going to be a very dangerous team, probably a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament, probably another Sweet 16 appearance, but then we'll see what they got. But with it being a 3 seed, they ought to be able to get through the first couple of rounds with some wins, depending on where they land and what bracket they're in, this, that, and the other. But nonetheless, and yesterday, I got to tell you, before we get these plays, we talked a little bit about handicapping these games and playing the money line versus laying 2.5. And there was some hater that came in there and said, Tony George is telling you to lay heavy chalk. I'm not telling you to lay heavy chalk. Pay attention, dude. But he's telling you to lay heavy chalk because he can't pick out a point spread winner. Oh, man. Sometimes it's better just to think with your mouth shut, dude. Give you a prime example. Georgia Tech laying 2 yesterday. Closed at 2. I told you the best way to play that game was money line. 61-60 final, Georgia Tech. Money line. If you'd have played the money line, you'd have won. If you'd have laid the 2, you'd have lost. Prime example of just what I was telling you. Now, we played the money line on Gonzaga and went chalky at 140. Always worried about a championship game. Throwing huge numbers around like the College of Charleston game I told you. That was too many. That was a nail biter. Nobody wants to play that 31-win team right there either, by the way. 2 of the best basketball games I've seen in the last month have been back-to-back days with College of Charleston. They're fun to watch, and they're a very dangerous team. They got 4 guys that can go double digits at any moment. 5, actually. Against someone that overlooks them, say they're a 12 seed, that dreaded 12-5 seed. Lots of upsets, 12 beaten 5s. Oral Roberts might be another one, might be a 12 seed. Who wants to draw those 2 teams out of the gate as a 5 seed? Just in case that unfolds that way. But nonetheless, hopefully they're both big underdogs, 5 or 6 or 7 point underdogs in their matchups, and we can exploit that. A couple good basketball teams, for sure. Today, one game that intrigues me is Ohio State, Wisconsin. Wisconsin catching 2. Obviously must win for Ohio State. Wisconsin, Ohio State's out of it. They're NIT team, but Wisconsin, they're kind of an enigma wrapped in a riddle. You don't know what you're going to get with these guys, but boy, they look awfully attractive at +2. I'm just saying. Another game that interests me a lot, an afternoon game, that I'm going to put a little money on Washington +2 against Colorado. I don't get this line. They both have equal records. I'm going to pull this up since we're just all sitting around here talking, being friendly and everything. But there's an injury issue here, and we're going to talk about this. Just so one thing you need to look at is guard play. You need to look at backcourt play always, but especially in the postseason. And if you take a look at these 2, they play at 3 o'clock today. Neutral floor game. Now, Washington has beat these guys both times they played this year. Most recently, January 19th, 75-72 game. And then they beat them 73-63 at home back in early December. And yet they're catching 2.5. The key here is you've got Colorado guard depleted. And what I mean by that is you've got Simpson out, guard. I mean, I can go down the list here. It's frightening. But I don't get that. You got Ruffin and Simpson out, and they lost in early February Javon Hadley, who was putting in, 7 points and 4 boards a game. So you have not only 2 players out up top in your backcourt, you've also got a contributor that's out, that went out early in February. For Colorado. I know Washington gave up 93 to Washington State in their last game, and they lost to Stanford, which was ugly. I get that. They were underdogs in both those games. But, I mean, I just think you're getting, let's see the current line, 2.5. I'd lean Washington in that one. And we're going to go with a light free play, this half a unit max. Let's get the Big 12 tournament. I'm going to go with an upset. I'm going to go with Oklahoma over Oklahoma State tonight. Okie State is what it was. If you look at all the white noise and the March Madness stuff, Joe Lunardi's got them first 4 out. Must win for them. All the pressure in the world is on them in this game. Oklahoma going to come in here and play loose. I haven't been impressed with Oklahoma State down the stretch. Now, this thing opened up at 1.5 or 2, and it's down to, it was down to a half a point, and now it's been bet up to +1 at -105 on the money line for Oklahoma. But Oklahoma pulled out a can of whoop butt on TCU in their last game. Beat them by 14. They lost to Kansas State. They beat Iowa State by 11 on the road at Hilton Coliseum. That's tough to do. They lost in overtime to Texas on the road by 2. They beat Kansas State. You take a look at Oklahoma, other than a win over Texas Tech by 3, they had lost 5 in a row. 5 in a row before they beat Texas Tech in their season finale on the road. There's going to be some upsets. I think Oklahoma, if you take a look at the numbers too, and what I tell you, when you're handicapping these games, you got to go right here, right now with these games. So last 5. Oklahoma State's given up 80 points per game on defense and scoring 68. Shooting 41% from the floor and 27% from three-point range versus Oklahoma shooting 44% from the floor and 35% from three-point range. And if you get in a tight game, you always need to handicap free throws. How many do I need to tell you this as sports bettors in March Madness, conference tourneys, NIT, NCAA tournament, CBI or CIB, whatever it is? How many times does it come down to, do they make a free throw or not? Fouling with a tight game. Oklahoma 80% from the free throw line. Oklahoma State 68%. I'm taking Oklahoma in an upset tonight. Small upset to advance. I'm going to fade Oklahoma State right now. Just not in sync. That being said, I want to thank everybody for jumping on board yesterday with the 7-unit NHL winner. 6-0 year to date with those. plus $3,545 run the last 30 days in the NHL. Okay, I'm passing today, but there's only 3 games. I don't like any of them. And that's one thing we do in the NHL. Surgical strikes, low volume, 4 or 5 picks a week. Well worth the stretch to jump on board. College basketball, 3-1 yesterday, 5-unit play on St. Joe's. The whole world was on Loyola Chicago. I could not figure out why. And they were missing a guard. The top 3 scorers for St. Joe's was missing a forward. Their top 3 scorers are guards. And what I just tell you, guard play's crucial. But we went 3-1 yesterday. We got a 3-pack today, 10-unit card. In college basketball, solid 24-13 run. Ready to go today. No big top plays or anything, just a 10-unit card. 2 threes and a 4-unit pick on there. And an NBA player prop tonight. Doc Sports, free $60. Link in the description below. Be there or be square. March Madness profits await you. Come on.